Mitchell was the star of King of Kong, the documentary which I've been talking about for literally 10 years on every single show I've ever been on. On the Ron and Fez show, on the Sam and Dave show, on the Davey Mac Sports program, on the Eastside Dave show, on everything. It's one of the absolute best documentaries of all time. And he is a Donkey Kong legend. That's right. 1982, he set the world record with something like 850,000 points. Subsequently, he followed that up with 900,000, a million points, this and that. He also, there's a video game headquarters in Iowa called Twin Galaxies, and they've acknowledged Billy Mitchell as the greatest video game player of all time. Okay?
Oh, it's a big news.
And what's going on now is Billy Mitchell was accused recently of faking a score. Now, I know Billy well.
Oh, no.
I don't believe he would ever do such a thing.
Serious accusation,
okay, he's my second best friend. Okay? My first best friend will be a mystery. Okay? It's certainly not this bag of shit playing the keyboards to my left. Billy is feeling the heat. Everyone's coming down on him. All people have reached out to Billy. Rolling Stone magazine, this publication, this website, all over the place. And he wants to tell his side of the story. He chose the #1 program in the galaxy, the Eastside Dave Show. Yeah. Now, that's pretty much the entire story. Huh. One of his buddies, Todd Rogers, was the king of the video game Dragster.
Oh, I remember Dragster.
Todd Rogers recently had his title stripped for him because of, quote, mathematically impossible times. So both Billy and Todd Rogers, and Todd Rogers is also in the documentary.
Yeah, I remember.
By the way, both guys are in another documentary that didn't get the huge acclaim, but I think is almost just as good, is another documentary called Chasing Ghosts. And you could see it somewhere. It might even be on Netflix or whatnot. And it's a video game. It's a documentary about those early 80s, mid-80s high score, record holders of all those vintage retro video games. Like Donkey Kong, Centipede, Berserk, all that shit, okay?
That's it.
So, Billy now, has he Skyped in here? Is he here? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, Dave. They're getting it ready now, but I see Billy.
They're getting him ready. So I'm
They're
very
prepping
excited
the man.
to have the man, the myth, the legend, Billy Mitchell, Skyping into the program to address these, and by the way, these very, very horrible allegations. Allegations which I do not believe. I am on the record as saying when you look at Billy Mitchell, what do you see, Roy?
See an honest man with great hair.
Honest American.
Yeah, honest American.
It's one of the best head of hairs you'll ever see in the video game business.
Oh, by far.
Unbelievable. I mean, I have seen handsome people in my life. Yeah. Billy Mitchell's one of them. Okay?
Yeah.
Billy Mitchell is like the Russell Crowe, and not fat Russell Crowe. We're talking gladiator Russell Crowe. Okay, he's manly. He's a real man.
Yeah, got the helmet and everything.
Gets the job done at Donkey Kong. Okay.
Yeah.
So is he there, Johnny boy? All right, bring him up. Bring him up. Billy Mitchell is here. All right, Billy. I am so happy you're here because we want to get to the bottom of this controversy which exploded over the weekend. It was trending more than even the Super Bowl, which is pretty amazing. Okay, and it made every single publication in the world.
No, I'm used to that kind of trending. Don't kid yourself.
I know, you're a star. You're a star. And I agree with you. And I feel like it's time for you to get your side of the story out because you know what? By the way, look at the kind of tie he's wearing there, Roy. What does that say? That says America, right?
Yeah.
Does America cheat?
No.
Hell no. America's never been accused of cheating.
That is a great
Ever.
Okay, let's start off first things first. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm going to let you take it away.
I'm getting a lot of text messages in regards to you.
I'm sure that most of them were bad.
What did you commit to me on the phone a short while ago?
I have committed that this is going to be no cursing, Roy.
That's right. I'm doing this.
And Big A, if you're going to ask Billy a question, no cursing. You
Yes,
understand
sir.
me? Billy Mitchell
Yes,
runs
sir.
a clean shop, okay?
Always.
He's got not only Donkey Kong to think
Yes.
about, he's got Ricky's hot sauce to think
Yes.
about. Okay, and no one knows Billy's a multimillionaire because he has one of the greatest hot sauces in the country, Ricky's hot sauce. So no cursing, Bill. Go ahead, sir.
I'll do my best, sir. How you doing?
Okay, how are you, pal?
Well, good. This is obviously an illustrious journey, and I tend to relish every moment of it. But things began, as maybe you know, I'll give you the history before I get to the more difficult subject. The history began back in 1982. That
Okay.
very first gathering of competitive gamers, the very essence of where esports began in Ottumwa, Iowa.
Okay, yes.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I don't really know what it was that grabbed me, that brought me there, but thank God that I went there.
Right, because
Because
there you
throughout
became a
the 80s
legend.
Well, throughout the 80s, I had an awesome time that I have no idea how to credit it, so I just say thank God. There were the 16 best video game players in the world, believed to be at the time, and I went there, and it was new, so it was rather intimidating.
Right.
And I thought, wow, what am I going to do? And I played Donkey Kong.
And what did you do, Bill? What did you do? Did you put up a record score?
I put a quarter in and I pressed the button. Don't you know anything?
I'm on your side.
I know you are, sir. No, so I went there and I had a nemesis that I was playing. And he's actually a friend now. But the fact is, I was playing this nemesis and he got 190,000 points in his game.
Okay.
And that had everybody's attention. And I got 849,000 on my first guy.
800, and how about a round of applause for Bill? Billy Mitchell. Yeah. Standing ovation, Bill. You see that? That's what America looks like. We stand for greatness here.
But the reason why I mention that is that's what put me into a fever or passion of competitive gaming that wouldn't end. Now in 1986, what we call the golden age of video games came to an end. And unfortunately, it breaks my heart. I had to go and I had to find a real job and a real career.
And that real job, if I can interrupt here, was simply creating the #1 hot sauce retailer in America, Ricky's Hot Sauce. Am I correct about that?
I wish you were correct. Because if it was a #1 retailer, then you'd be sitting in my building. But the fact of the matter is, I had my fun in the 80s and I sat on it. Okay, then came 1999. Okay, 20 years into the gaming industry, and 20 years into the gaming industry, games sort of became like cars. They were classics. They had a renewed interest. And I got a call from somebody who claimed to have all the knowledge and could beat me to the perfect Pac-Man score. And he's a guy that's a good friend now. But he was my nemesis then.
Oh, no. He was your nemesis.
He was.
He was like a Jedi, and you're like a Sith Lord, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Okay, yeah. Because, I mean, like, the hair is, I mean this in a respectful term, kind of like a Darth Vader helmet. And again, that's out of respect. You know that. Because I'm a Star Wars fan. Continue, please.
Well, I went there. I went to Fun Spot in front of a crowd of people.
Yes.
With the cameras showing, and the Boston Herald there, and the Weir's Times there. And I did a perfect score. And it was absolutely an explosion of media that eventually sent me to Japan. I say I went to Japan. I went to Japan. There were a few other people that went with me. We went to Japan. Okay. There in Japan, Masaya Nakamura said that this coming at this time, in this moment, would cause a renewed interest or a rebirth of classic gaming.
Billy, can I interrupt for a second?
Do I have a choice?
Just Bobo. He's talking to us about his adventures in Japan, setting world records in Pac-Man. You're blowing your nose. Okay. Sorry, Bill. I try to run a tight ship, but it doesn't happen.
But the fact is, what happened was, when I came back, that's when the camera crews came. That's when the films came. That's when people wanted to make movies, and movies were made.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly what happened. You know why? Because you're a star. I look
But
around
there
this
was something
room.
else that was born in that era, and that was the LLC.
What's LLC, Billy?
Limited Liability Corporation.
No, Roy, let him
Oh.
finish.
The Lonely Losers Club.
Lonely Losers Club.
I'll tell you more about them later.
Please. I
But
can't
when
wait.
I came back with a different attitude. It wasn't so important for me to go and play people in an arcade and somehow get them pinned and beat them or try to humiliate them like it was at Life magazine. And that new responsibility, which I'm sure you don't want to hear about, was to be an advocate for competitive gaming, to be an ambassador, to be able to push a culture and try to create a scenario where competitive gaming took a greater and greater role in the hobby that we love so much.
You know, when you think about it, if there's no Billy Mitchell, there's no PlayStation, there's no Nintendo. He put video gaming on the map.
On the map. Yeah.
What happens when you become a star and a legend? You get haters, or as Billy says, Lonely Losers Club.
Yes.
People like you, Roy. LLC.
Only loser.
Billy, continue, please.
The fact of the matter is, it was far more satisfactory to either participate in films or conventions to bring glory or recognition to show achievement to people who worked hard, who contributed to the hobby, who contributed to the culture, and take that history and bring it out and present it to the public and forever give those people credit. We did it by way of recognizing people.
That's all you did. That's all you did. You just tried to help the world.
Well, the fact of the matter is, when you go to the conventions, yes, there's fun. Yes, there's fanfare. Yes, there's autographs and show-offs and hugs and all that. But the fact is, you try to push or promote the competitive gaming culture. For example, recently, Guinness asked us to go to Chicago, where Rob Burke has the longest running pinball convention at like 37 years. So we went there and we presented him with a certificate because he has such an achievement that has contributed so much to gaming.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Bushnell, who was the founder of Atari, he was certainly somebody that deserved that recognition for what he contributed. And him I like to pick on in particular because he was put on a trading card, and he was put on the number 2 trading card. And I like to remind him that he wasn't number 1.
Who was put on the number 1 trading card, Bill?
Oh, I'd never guess, but it was probably me.
Billy Mitchell was on number 1 trading card. And now that's why you're getting a standing ovation. Because that's what we applaud. We applaud number 1. Numero uno, Ichiban.
But the fact of the matter is, there were so many people, thousands of people, who contributed so much that deserve that recognition. Okay, here's another one. The guy I call Pac-Man Rick. The guy who was my inspiration to push me to get a perfect score, because if I didn't do it, he would beat me to the punch.
Right.
He's a great guy and a great player, and he certainly deserves that recognition. And you'll like this one, most recently, we went to a convention where Ernie Klein was there. He's the author of Ready Player One.
Steven Spielberg is going to make that into a movie.
My favorite
Absolutely.
books.
See? Billy Mitchell
Ready Player
inspired
One.
Steven Spielberg. If there's no Billy, there's no Spielberg. I think we can say that safely.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen to this. So we went there to award him with this certificate.
Right.
And when we did that, I'll speak of me.
Sure.
He presented me with his book, signed and autographed. And you have to understand how this hits me. I don't want to get emotional. He signed it, and he told me that I was an inspiration as to why he did the book and the film. And you have to understand how hard that hits you. Think about those of you that have kids, and your kid comes home with a report card, and the report card is straight A's, and the kid says, "I did it for you, Daddy." I mean, if you're a parent, that'll knock your socks off.
No, you're right.
Now, let me give you a little better example.
Okay, yes.
I
Please.
listened to John Glenn speak once. John Glenn was the first man in space. You know, I realize you didn't go to school. But he was the first man in space.
Okay.
And he said every time he sees somebody follow in any way, shape, or form in the footsteps of what he began,
Yeah.
he gains satisfaction that he began something that other people went on to be a part of, contribute to, and enjoy. That's the kind of satisfaction that comes from the things that we do.
So in other words, no Bill Mitchell, people don't walk on the moon, Roy.
That's right.
Think of that. NASA, forget it. Bill?
Boy, anybody that says I'm on a friendly show, they don't know you well, do they?
No, you are. We want to get.
I'm only teasing.
We want to get to the bottom of this.
Well, the fact of the matter is,
Okay.
there became a greater inspiration than competitive gaming.
Okay.
The one exception that just kept getting put in my face and put in my face and put in my face was Donkey Kong. And the fact of the matter is, when I met Richie Knucklez, who you've met, I met him there at Rockefeller Center,
Right.
as we pulled up to your place and took over and brought out the game and had our way with the security and all that.
You're talking about, wow, this is 8-9 years ago.
Back, yeah.
Billy actually came to one of my shows with Richie Knucklez. Richie is like your sort of friend and business kind of colleague from time to time.
I would say Richie is the authority
authority too.
in the Donkey Kong world.
Well, he's the authority of Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
They came in, they literally brought an actual arcade game in with them to the studio.
Wow.
And I can say this, and we're having fun with Billy. I can say I saw in person the brilliance of Billy Mitchell. In person. I was there. Yeah, you can applaud that. Because I saw it from my own eyes.
Yeah.
And what I don't like is this guy, Billy Mitchell, who is simply trying to make the world a better place for video gamers and for dreamers and Americans like myself. And he's getting taken down by these internet weasels. And no, Billy, you don't have to say it because you're a gracious person. You're polite. But these people are haters, Bill.
No, they're not. They're the LLC.
They're the Lonely Loser Club, LLC. I'm going to get T-shirts. We're going to split the proceeds 50-50, okay?
All right.
75-25, Dave.
You're out of this.
But if you recall, we were in your studio.
Yes.
We were in your studio when Richie twisted my arm, blackmailed me, threatened me, used physical violence, and got me to agree to do with him, Richie Knucklez and Billy Mitchell present The Kong Off.
The Kong Off, it's another thing that I went to. Billy was there. So was Steve Wiebe. A lot of the people who you saw in King of Kong and some of the people you saw in Chasing Ghosts, they were all there. Billy put up a gigantic score. I think it was well over 900,000 points, right? Live, right? Am I mistaken about that?
You are mistaken. The highest score
Oh.
did not break 1 million.
Well, no, but
Matter of fact, the highest score was not a kill screen, but the highest score was put up by Hank Chin.
Hank Chen. Okay,
Yeah.
he's a guy who, yes.
He's a fellow New Yorker, so you should like him.
Okay, I do.
I know.
I like him. You don't know him. Don't lie to Billy. Okay.
Okay, so all these things we do, all this fun we have, since you mentioned Steve Wiebe, I want to tell a quick story. I've never told this story.
Oh, this is good. I like this.
So I got approached by Disney because they wanted me to play Fix It Felix, and they go, we want you to play somebody by satellite, just a little fun contest for Disney. And I said, okay, but I get to keep the machine when we're done. And she said, well, I don't have that authority. I go, well, call me back when you have that authority. She called me back and said, okay, I have that authority. And then she explained to me after I agreed to do it that I was going to be playing against Steve Wiebe in Redmond, Washington.
Oh.
That's awesome.
By satellite.
That is awesome.
I don't want you to tell anybody what I'm going to tell you. But I said to her, and I said, if that's the case, like I said, I get to keep the machine. but Steve Wiebe gets to keep his machine. What are you going to do with the machine anyway? The movie will already be released. So she said, okay, Steve Wiebe gets to keep the machine too. So don't tell anyone I was nice to him, because that wouldn't be good for me.
Exactly, because Billy is portrayed as the sort of the villain in King of Kong.
Clearly a gentleman.
Anyone who's met him knows he's a gentleman. He's classy. He doesn't like cursing.
No.
Okay, no cursing.
Man after my own heart.
Exactly. He's family friendly, Billy Mitchell. In addition to that, let me just step in here for a second.
Yeah.
There was on the Pixels movie, everyone says that Peter Dinklage, his character, was based off of Billy Mitchell, right? You did have a cartoon character in that Fix-It Felix who was patterned after Billy Mitchell. Is there any other, perhaps, documentary in the works for Billy Mitchell, like, for instance, a sequel to either King of Kong or Chasing Ghosts? Because that would be pretty awesome.
Well, no, but let me say this. What I did send to you in an email format for your eyes only, as you know,
yes,
was last night I received an email, and that email had a movie offer.
Movie offer.
And today I received an even bigger one from a name you would recognize and a name you would want to work with. And me and a couple of friends will be pondering that.
Can I have the initials of this person, this mysterious person? Is it a director?
Yes, that's all you get.
It's a director.
Maybe the next show I'll tell you more.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
I promised I'd keep it quiet to a friend of mine.
Okay, good. Keep
Okay.
it quiet.
However, as soon as we became in touch with the Kong off, as soon as we began doing that, unfortunately, I recognized the fact that although I'm the MC, Richie kills himself. He does. He compromises his life to prepare for the Kong off. People don't know, people don't see, people don't appreciate. He absolutely turns his world upside down to prepare for it. The old joke is, once we're at the Kong off, he's so exhausted he falls asleep. That's not quite true. But my job at the Kong off is to MC. It's to glorify and bring strong recognition and deserved recognition for the skill set and the people who have played and have competed in the Kong off. They do deserve it. And that is what I enjoy doing most. However, because I'm at the Kong off and because I'm me, I am responsible to have to play. And so that's the only time and the only game that I would still play on a competitive level.
Right.
But I pretty much play it once a year at the Kong off. And there actually are other players, like I pick on Vincent LeMay, because now he has a wifey poo. Now he has a baby. The last time I saw him, I go, hey, you ready? He goes, ready for what? And I go, well, when's the last time you played? He says, the last Kong off. And I go, but you have a game at home. He goes, yeah. And I go, how come you don't play? He says, because I don't want to, man. He's got his wife. He's got his baby. So the camaraderie.
He has a wifey poo.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend. That's my line, wifey poo.
Want to remind you about the clean language thing, please.
I'm proud of you.
Well,
But
I
the
mean,
fact of
poo.
the matter is
Poo
the
is very
camaraderie
dirty
we
by
create,
definition. Yes.
camaraderie we create, the friendships we create, the circles we create are far more valuable than anything that we do in the gaming world. And the only thing that really does still have some level of competitiveness
Right.
is Kong off. That is
Okay.
the pivotal point where whoever wins the Kong off really wears the crown of Donkey Kong for that year.
Okay.
Even more so than the world record, even
All
though
right.
it's all the same person.
Let's get now to the strange and, in my opinion, wrong accusation. Okay? I've gone on the record as saying this is, I believe you've set up the fact that you are the #1 ambassador for old school gaming and retro gaming. And apparently, here's the issue. I'm going to keep it clean, as you said.
Well, here, let me say this one thing before you go.
Please.
A question I'm always asked is why me?
Why you?
Why did I have this good fortune?
Why are you so blessed?
Without lying, life is about timing. I was in the right place at the right time in 1982. I was in the right place at the right time in 1999. That's what caused the film crews to follow me. If I sit here and I started in the East, I would say Donald Hayes I could go state to state, and I could name people all the way till I get to the West Coast, and I would say Ken House. And the fact of the matter is, in every state, there's somebody with that skill level or higher, equally deserving. But the fact of the matter is, the ball's bounced in my favor. I was in the right place at the right time. I don't lose sight of that, but I certainly capitalize on it.
You're like Forrest Gump when it comes to Donkey Kong players. Is that a fair assessment? I mean, without the...
You never know what you're going to get.
Right, exactly. So, the point is that this gentleman, and he might not be a gentleman, Billy. I'm going to keep it clean. But this snake, hiss, hiss. This snake's name is Jeremy Young. Apparently, he's a moderator for the Donkey Kong forum online.
An insider.
He was the one who has said that Billy has, pardon me for even using his words, these are his words, not mine.
No cussing.
Faked a high score, that he was playing on a basically home machine that he passed off as a proper arcade machine and told people it was a regular arcade machine when it was in fact a home machine that perhaps was even tampered with. I shudder when I hear this. I get sweaty and upset because I know you, okay? You're my second best friend, probably.
Don't threaten me.
My point is, you wouldn't do something like this. Now, can you address what this Jeremy Young is talking about, that you perhaps faked a high score?
Absolutely.
I'm the one getting emotional now, Roy. Maybe you.
Well, then maybe you should shut your mic off.
I might have to.
All right, I have been asked to address a lot of things, and I will.
Please, address this one.
Okay. The fact of the matter is, from a very early time, I was extremely cautious. For example, I was in Twin Galaxies when I got 849,000 points on one guy. I came a level shy of a kill screen in front of all the players in Twin Galaxies, in front of the cameras of Life magazine. There was an environment that you would consider indisputable, and that was important. When I was at Fun Spot, I said I was going there. I said I was going there to do a perfect score. There was a camera. A camera was behind me. There were Fun Spot people there. They were terrific. They were so accommodating.
Okay.
Okay, there was news people there. There was a crowd there. I think there were people there that eventually became referees.
Referee people.
Yeah.
People
and the
referees.
Fact of the matter is, I did it there. I called it there. It all happened. It was all awesome. It was all wonderful. Again, I considered it a bulletproof environment.
You can't take away the 1982 high score he did in front of Life magazine. Now, he did it in front of people.
And cameras.
And cameras. So why all of a sudden is someone with that kind of skill in 1982, how would he fake a score, Jeremy Young? It
Well, I don't
make sense. LLC.
Well, I don't think he's saying that.
Okay, what is he
saying? Again, I've never been on the Donkey Kong forums, nor have I been on Twin Galaxies, but what happened here is you have never once, anybody has ever seen me address any of the LLC club. The LLC club begins with somebody named Patty Cat. That's actually two people.
Patty.
And there's other members such as Mr. Bigwig.
Mr. Bigwig.
Yeah. Now, I don't say their
Are these
names
people
on
in the
air.
mob?
I don't say their names, period,
Don't
because
give them
I
the
don't want to give
satisfaction.
them any satisfaction or any recognition.
Don't give him the satisfaction. Mr.
Right.
Bigwig is good enough.
Yeah.
Plus, it's fun.
But the
It's
fact
like-
of the matter is,
yeah.
when people you know, people you're close to, people who are good to you, people who you consider your friends, I've continually get kicked between the knees. At some point, my ignoring the LLC club and not answering the accusations that are going out to people that I'm close to,
Right.
then I sort of become not a friend and I become irresponsible. And that's the only reason why now, for the very first time,
Right here.
I agreed to answer some of this.
Right here, right now.
Right. I absolutely have not gone on any forums, and I'm never going to go and roll in the mud with anybody. Okay? I'm very happy to answer the questions of any authority because I do have respect for authority.
Okay.
However,
Yes. Here,
this
let
was-
me read you the quote here from this Jeremy Young.
do you have to?
I'm going to, but that's because I want to open the door for you to answer him. That's all. That's all this is. Because I don't believe in this guy. I'm on your side on this because you're a truth teller. Everyone knows this. They call you Billy Mitchell, the truth teller. That's what we call you in here on the Eastside Dave Show. Am I right, Roy?
That's what I call him.
He says, quote, I understand this will not be a popular decision. Ultimately, I have to do what I think is right.
It sounds pretty popular to me. I haven't had this much media in a while, and I haven't had 2 movie offers in 2 days in a long time.
That's right. He's actually helping you, isn't he?
Well, all right, since you said that, brace yourself.
Please.
People say to me that when people act this way, and actually I've never had any negative interaction with Jeremy. We'll talk about the others that I mentioned. They just constantly barrage the situation. It doesn't matter what it is. They're just saying something. And the way I explain it is it doesn't matter if you were who you were for as president or who you were against.
Right.
Nobody can argue the fact that the media gave so much press and so much coverage to Donald Trump, he could have never bought it. And the fact of the matter is, had they not given him that coverage, I don't think he would have got elected.
Okay.
So
This
they
is
actually drove the engine.
Yeah.
So what I'm telling you is, whether these people like it or not, I don't have to do anything. They constantly keep my name in front of everybody.
Right.
They constantly drive the engine. And I constantly, every single week, I get requests to be booked something or somewhere. And I don't do anything. I don't even have a Facebook page. I don't have anything.
Do you think it's jealousy?
No. Oh, come on.
Sarcasm, perhaps?
Of course it's sarcasm.
We have a guy who is very good at, who's very big into the retro gaming.
But
Okay.
the fact of the matter is,
Yeah. Oh.
I think it's very, very few people that fall into that category. Most people are good people, and most people simply have questions.
Well,
and I'll
here's-
answer any question a friend has.
Here's a guy.
Any question.
Okay, we have a guy with a question. Big A, I know you're huge into Ms. Pac-Man is your game.
Yes, Mr.
Do you have a
Champion.
question? And you were very excited that Mr. America,
Yes, I was.
#1 Billy Mitchell, the truth teller, is on the
Yes.
show tonight. And what's your question for him right now?
Yeah, Billy, why was Pac-Man yellow?
Why
Why
was
was Pac-Man
Why
yellow?
why was
Yes.
Pac-Man yellow? Is what you're gonna
Because none of the ghosts were yellow.
Because none of the ghosts were yellow. Okay? Thank you. All right, I'm not sure, Big A, if that goes into what Billy and I are discussing right now.
Okay, no, so to describe the situation or
Yeah.
the problem or the concern,
Yes.
in 2010, using that example, I did what I thought at the time was far more than what was required. For example, a distributor was called because there's no Donkey Kong at Boomers, which was the world's largest arcade. There was no Donkey Kong there, so they brought a Donkey Kong in. It was, oh, Billy needs a Donkey Kong again. There were times when I needed a Pac-Man brought to a TV studio, and they brought it. They were always accommodating, and it wasn't the first time. So I guess I'm giving kudos to them that they complied the way they did.
When Billy Mitchell goes into an arcade, they're going to roll out the red carpet
Yeah.
because he's a legend. It's like, well, I was going to use you as an example, Roy, but people would actually throw you in a dumpster. There would be no red carpet for you.
That's right, David.
Wait, Big A, you said you had another question for Billy, real quick? Billy, I'm sorry. Big A's got a couple. Just one more.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is Donkey Kong a gorilla or an orangutan?
He wants to know if Donkey Kong is a gorilla or an orangutan. That's not.
It's a monkey.
He's a monkey.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's
So
a
no.
marsupial.
But that's not what we're talking about right now. So in 2010, okay,
Okay, so the distributor brought a game into Boomers.
right.
Okay, it was hooked up. The Boomer manager, 2 of them I think, were there. Their technician hooked it up. Rob, who's a well-known technician that I know, he was there. He hooked it up. Todd, who would arguably be one of, if not the most famous console gaming
Todd Rogers?
players. Todd Rogers.
We're
your
talking
buddy.
about Todd Rogers.
Yes.
Okay.
He was there with his girlfriend, and Pete Bouvier was there with a family member.
Wow. These are a lot of people.
Right. Me,
Never heard.
like everybody else, don't tell anybody I said this,
Okay.
but none of us hit the score we want in the first game. You play and play and play, and it just happens. What was really neat was this, although this world's largest arcade was only 5 miles away from Pete Bouvier's house, Pete Bouvier was the owner of Twin Galaxies at the time. He was the owner. He had never met the management from Boomers at the world's largest arcade, so this was his introductory to Boomers. So
Were
the
you aware
fact
of
of the
that,
matter
Roy?
is,
Now I am.
You are. Okay.
so the fact of the matter is, I was playing, okay, and obviously I'm locked on the screen. The game is being recorded, and behind me, 9 feet in the air on a tripod, is another camera about 25 or 30 feet away getting a room shot. So we have Twin Galaxies there.
Mm-hmm.
We have the gameplay.
Right.
We have room coverage. And when I absolutely had the good fortune and I got the score on Donkey Kong and I turned around, one of the people shaking my hands, one of the people patting me on the back, okay, was Pete Bouvier, the owner of Twin Galaxies.
Pete Bouvier shook your hand.
Very
Bouvier shook his hand.
very easily seen on the room shot in the tape that was created. Again, in my mind, we've gone above and beyond what has happened. Okay? We went, we had something to eat. When I say we, I don't mean Pete. The rest of us went, had something to eat, finished up. It was only about 6 or 7 o'clock in that area.
Mm.
And I was antagonized because I wasn't going to play again until the next day. But I was antagonized quite a bit that I should play now. And I played again and again. I'm the first to acknowledge, through good fortune, I got the score that I got on Donkey Kong Jr.
Oh my gosh.
Now that score on Donkey Kong Jr., when I finish the score and the camera shows it, Pete Bouvier was not there. Boo.
No Pete Bouvier.
He wasn't there.
Case closed. I'm not
Howsomever-
100% sure what he's talking about, but
Oh, you know.
Howsomever,
it's
there's the
the
gameplay,
official.
the official.
there's the room shot in the back,
Okay.
and the fact of the matter is, everybody is looking at the film and everybody is questioning the fact, was it arcade or was it MAME?
What is MAME exactly for those who may not know?
Okay, I've never even played MAME. I don't have MAME loaded in my home. But basically, MAME is an emulation of what is in the arcade.
That's right.
It's just not the arcade. Therefore, it's a different platform. There are MAME world records. There is Donkey Kong MAME world records, okay? And the film footage that he has, that Jeremy has, shows MAME play.
MAME.
Now, I contend that if he gets the original tape or he gets the original room shot, he will see that what I say is true. I'm not disputing what he says. What I'm disputing is the fact that I want him to have the original tape.
Okay. Now
And
we're
the
getting
fact of the
somewhere.
matter is that original footage
Okay.
was given to Twin Galaxies. Twin Galaxies has it or should have it. And if it's anywhere other than Twin Galaxies, then that's a real problem.
Well, they lost the tape.
I
They
don't
lost the
think so.
tape. This is on them, not you. They lost the tape.
I don't think they lost the tape.
Well, where's the tape?
In the words of Jace Hall, Twin Galaxies is going through a growth spurt.
Where's Walter Day? Where's Walter Day, the creator of Twin Galaxies? Where's
He's out of the country.
What?
He's out of the country.
He's out of the country.
Right.
Why is he out of the country?
He does this like once a year or every other year. He's kind of weird.
Is there? I don't want to be offensive in any way. He doesn't. This isn't anything illegal out of the
No,
country.
it's not illegal.
Okay. Okay. It sounded precarious. You all right?
Well, let
Yeah.
me get back-
Roy, no,
let me
you
get back-
you were just making Roy nervous for
a
a
little
second.
nervous there, Billy. I'm
Because
sorry.
Roy gets nervous when he hears out of the country. Because Roy also goes out of the country for much different reasons. Billy,
A lot of illegal stuff.
no, Bill.
Yes.
Never
sir.
seen Narcos on Netflix? Big A, what did you want to ask him something? Okay, one last question. That's it.
Actually, it's a two-part question.
Two-part question?
Can I give a one-part answer?
Yes, you may. Go
If
ahead.
you want. You ever play Super Mario Brothers? And why was he a plumber?
Why was Super Mario a plumber? That's not.
Well, Mario comes from Donkey Kong, where he was called Jumpman.
Very
And
good.
the reason
Andrew.
why he appears to be a plumber or a maintenance man named Mario is because one of the people who helped create, or one of the people who helped distribute Donkey Kong, one of the Nintendo people, had a maintenance man in their building that looked just like the character on the screen, and his name was Mario.
Look at that! You ask him a question, he knows the answers.
Yes, he
Just
does.
when you think you have the answers, Billy Mitchell changes the questions. How about that? All right, so Bill, we are going to have to wrap this up.
Okay, well, let me get quick here, okay?
Please do.
The fact of the matter is, when you look at the tape, and Twin Galaxies will eventually look at it,
Yes?
it shows Pete Bouvier on the tape. It does. It shows the camera view, okay? The other question they have is, when the second board was put into the game, what was that board? That board was brought there by Rob Childs, was plugged into the game, okay? He's a lot smarter than me. I didn't even pay attention to the back of the game. He says that's an authentic Donkey Kong Jr. board.
Okay.
Okay, so he says that. Now, Pete Bouvier was there at the Donkey Kong rollover, not Donkey Kong 2. But I got a call from somebody in authority today who mentioned a point to me that is completely valuable. They said that once we review the tape, once we review the room shot is 9 feet in the air, 25 feet away. They said we can simply zoom in on the Donkey Kong screen. And by zooming in on the Donkey Kong screen, he says, we can absolutely look at the gameplay. We can absolutely see what was on the screen. So
you
know-
are going to be vindicated.
Yeah.
If we can get our hands on this tape, it's going to show that there was no hijinks, no hanky-panky, no shenanigans.
okay, well, let me say it another way. I go to these shows, I participate, I have my place in video game history, I have the fun I spread the goodwill, and that's what I enjoy doing. With or without this tape, I would have had that position. With or without this now, I'll have that position. And if anybody has a problem with that, I'll still get weekly offerings to get booked at all these shows, and I'll still have the fun I have.
That's right.
Okay, and the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter what it is they decide, okay, because I can simply continue what I'm doing, and I can resubmit more scores. Only this time, I don't know, I guess I would do it in front of people when the time comes, and then we'll have another group of people who might complain about it.
Absolutely.
And if they do, then we'll simply get this much more media coverage. Again, you know, I'm getting killed by I'm getting killed by this guy who keeps trying to call in.
Who's calling in? Who's someone's texting you while we're on the air?
Yes.
You're getting killed by him?
No, my phone is going bing, bing, bing.
Oh.
He's trying to call you.
Oh, he's trying to call me?
Trying to call you.
Oh, I think that might be a John thing.
I don't know.
Hello?
John, do we have the thing? Flash the phone number, John. Or Garrett or somebody.
The studio.
What's the phone number?
Yes. Hi. One of the things I wanted to address with you
Yes, sir.
was the lynch mob mentality has gotten a hold of Todd Rogers. They've said,
We're still talking about video games, right?
yes, they said his score was not possible. And they took his score away, the so-called expert.
We're talking about Todd Rogers, the dragster record holder.
Right.
Correct.
Now, what you have emailed to you that was emailed to me yesterday is the exact same scenario that took Todd's record away. Only the person who sent it to me has actually beaten Todd's record. They said it couldn't be beaten, so they said it couldn't be matched, so they took it away.
I can tell you're
Now
upset.
that
Don't get
video-
worked up.
No, now that video actually has Todd's score beat. The so-called experts that we talk about,
Right?
the so-called experts who argued that Todd's score be taken down, and it was taken down.
Yes. Who the?
Is that Todd?
That's not Todd Rogers.
No, that guy's a little dark-skinned. No, that's Triforce.
I'm sorry,
No,
Mr.
what
Mitchell.
they
We
did
want a clean
was-
show here.
What they did was they took the dragster score and they took out all the obstacles. They modified it. You can't blow your engine. You can't have a false start. It's point A to point B. Can you do a 5.51?
Billy, wait a second. I hate to interrupt. We have the aforementioned Richie Knucklez on the line.
The phone.
Would you like us to go to him, Bill?
Well, does that mean, do I still listen or what? He's
You
texting
stay
me-
there. Stay there. You can hear him. You'll
Well,
be
he's
able.
texting me. It sounds like he's pretty fired up.
You'll be able to hear him.
Is he fired up?
Richie, we're trying to get to the bottom of this whole thing because we're in Billy's corner, and we don't like hearing these internet cockroaches try to take a great man down.
Are you there, Mr. Knuckles?
I'm here.
All right, Richie. Can you verify?
Does
that
he remember speaking to you way back when?
Do I remember you speaking to me?
No, do you remember when we were in his
What do you
studio?
mean? I haven't. I have to admit, I have not been watching the show,
That's okay.
so I'm completely in the dark. Just fill me in. Give me a.
Well,
give me
okay,
a-
I'll tell you what, Dave. Just let Richie start talking because he knows how to talk.
Richie, do you
Yeah.
have any sort of support or non-support for Billy and these accusations here?
Yeah, absolutely. I've known Bill. Oh my God, we met on the Today Show, and together we discussed doing a Kong off. So Billy and I together made the Kong off. And you is this the same guy that came to my arcade?
Yeah, we don't need we don't need any more backstory. Let's talk about the accusations. Richie, can you say yay or nay to what they're trying to do with Bill?
Well, first, let's go to the source. The person that provided the tape. If the person is Dwayne Richards,
Mr.
that
Bigwig?
right there, his taint that he placed on the tape, his taint, is enough to just call this bullshit.
Hold the phone. They should have told. Okay, Richie.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a clean show. Did you say taint?
You want to dump out?
Yes.
Okay, I
Dwayne
don't.
Richards' taint is nothing clean about his fucking taint.
Let's dump out of this, boys.
It's a clean show.
Stop
Bill,
it.
this is your friend?
Hey, Dave, just remind him he promised me he'd keep it R-rated.
I thought, how is this a clean show?
It's
I
a
don't
clean
get it.
show. The guy asked us to make it clean. He's got his kids watching in the other room.
All right. I'll refrain. I'm just angry because I'm forced to watch your show.
By the way, me too. And I'm forced to participate in it. Trust me. We're all on the same page on that one. All right. What
Yeah.
we're trying to get to the bottom of is These people are saying he faked a score. Is this true?
No, Billy did not fake a score. Billy has no knowledge of MAME. He doesn't know. He has a flip phone, for Christ's sake. He doesn't know how to do this crap.
Richie Knucklez.
Billy and I have known each other for quite some time. He's one of my best friends. I said to him, I said, dude, you can tell me the truth. Just tell me the effing truth. I said, if you killed somebody, say Billy killed Dwayne Richards, I'd help him bury the body.
Mr. Bigwig.
I'd help him hide the body. That's how much I love Billy. I asked Billy, I said, dude, it's me and you. Tell me the truth. And he swore to me that he did not cheat.
Richie, are you mobbed up?
Am I what up?
Are you connected?
Ask Billy. When we tried to get the hot sauce in all the ShopRites across the United States, ask Billy that story one day.
I've seen Goodfellas already. All right, so the bottom line is this. Billy did not fake a score. Billy...
I believe in my heart that Billy is not lying. Billy did it for real, for the simple fact that he doesn't know how to use MAME. The source of the tapes is Dwayne Richards. That right there, again, I'll say it, his taint is enough to make me look, like no way could this be real. And Billy swore to me on our friendship that he did not cheat. So I believe in him.
But Richie, what is it you told me the other day?
About what Dwayne did to me?
Yes.
Oh, I kept this really quiet, but I'm sure other people are going to come out after I do and tell them what the story is. Way back when, in I don't know, 2009, I'm going to say.
Before you met me?
Contacted me and asked me to help him doctor a tape of MAME Donkey Kong to make it look like we got the high score to put egg on Twin Galaxy's face.
Oh, my God. That's a
He asked me
bombshell.
to do that for him. And I am sure I'm not his only guy to go to.
So they're
with
trying
that
to
being
embarrass
said,
Billy. They're the ones...
think-
Let me paraphrase here for a second.
Paraphrase away.
Because there is a tape that is MAME that people claim is Billy Mitchell. Everyone says, well, the tape is MAME, blah, blah, blah. It's possible that it's not even Billy's MAME tape. That
That's what
they're
I'm
trying to
saying.
pass off a maimed tape and say it's Billy when he had nothing to do with it.
First thing first, locate the tape. You don't use a tape that somebody else put in. How do you know that's Billy's tape? If it's not Billy's tape, it's all BS. And the guy is known for cheating. The guy cheated on Nibbler. When the real truth comes out about Nibbler, the man versus snake shit, the stuff that
Whoa.
hit the cutting room floor, when that comes out, oh my God.
I can't believe he cheated on Nibbler.
He cheated, and then they
Allegedly.
cleaned it up.
Allegedly. So we're still talking about Mr. Bigwig here, right?
Yeah.
Mr.
The
Bigwig
smelly
allegedly, perhaps, cheated on Nibbler, is trying to frame Billy Mitchell, besmirch his name out of jealousy, because Billy is the one in Hollywood. Because Billy has had 2 documentaries produced to him. Because Billy Mitchell is the basis for Peter Dinklage and Pixels. And because a cartoon Billy Mitchell was in Fix It, Felix. Am I right? Can I get an amen? Hold on. Amen. Can I get an amen? Amen. I believe we've just solved the mystery. I believe in the most gigantic, epic, roundabout way, we have solved and proven that Billy Mitchell is a truth teller and is honest.
Did Billy tell you about the Kong off?
Of course he did. For about 25 minutes.
KongOff.com. Check out thekongoff.com. This year we're going to finally have Billy versus Steve. Just the 2 of them.
Billy versus Steve Weeby at the Kong Off.
In
All right.
California.
Rising up, back on the street. gonna play that King of Kong. He played that video game, he can't be beat. He got the
Can I say
bill
something?
and the thing and the thing. He's got that Billy Mitchell, he's good at the game.